Land was the raw material of the agricultural age. Iron was the raw material of the industrial age. Data is the raw material of today and tomorrow's economy. He who owned the land and controlled the land during the agricultural age had the economic power. He who owned the factories and controlled access to the natural resources during the industrial age had the power. He or she who own the data, control the data, or can harvest meaning from the data are those that are really creating the industries and businesses that are going to compete and succeed in the 2020s and 2030s. In order to be able to really use big data, to go beyond the buzzwords, you have to have an aptitude in two different things. First, you have to have a team that understands data science. And secondly, you have to have domain expertise in a given field. A lot of people think incorrectly that big data is just something that applies in communications or in social media or in those industries that we tend to associate with Silicon Valley. But in fact, all of the major industries that are strongest in Italy, whether it's pharma, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's fashion, whether it's agriculture, all of these industries need a digital strategy and a data science strategy, a big data strategy. It's not necessarily going to tell you how to do your work, but what it is going to be able to do is help you develop strategies with tactics that enable you to draw more out of your resources. So data science is an aptitude that I look forward to discussing with you about how to bring into your enterprise and make it relevant to what you are making and what you are selling. How can big data support organizations? The first thing I would say is big data is just a tool. It's a very powerful tool, but as we all know, those people who don't use the most powerful tools to communicate, to manage their supply chains, to manage their production processes, can be outcompeted by their competitors. Very few of us run businesses that are monopolies. For those of you who do, congratulations. But for most of the rest of us, we are working and we are investing in a world of high levels of competition. Local competition, European competition, and global competition. And what big data enables, what it really is it's another tool for you to put into your toolbox to help you solve problems that relate to efficiency, that relate to resource allocation. It enables you to do a little more while spending a little less. Two things you may not know about big data. First, 90% of all the data, 90% of all of the information created over the sum of humanity has been created in the last 2 years. 90% of all of the information created in humankind has been created since the end of 2018. And in fact, if you take all of the data, all of the information that humans have created from the first paintings on the walls in France, from those paintings on the cave walls to the year 2003, not that long ago, the sum of all of that data we now create every 2 days. Every 2 days, we create as much information as was created from the days of the paintings on the cave walls in France to the year 2003. Now, this data is like an ocean. It's an overwhelming amount of information. But just because you have such a big ocean with lots of fish in it, if you don't know how to actually fish it, it's worthless to you. And so a lot of the data science strategies right now are really designed to figure out not just how to produce more data, but how to harness, how to draw more meaning out of it, and then how to make that something that's real in the conduct of your business. Right now, as I stand here speaking to you, we live in a world of a little bit more than 30 billion networked devices. In just a few years, in 3 or 4 years, that number is going to go from 30 billion to 75 billion. And this isn't because we're putting more cell phones in more pockets. It's because we're lining our supply chains with sensors. It's taking old industries like mining and agriculture and driving the zeros and ones of computer code through it. So where the story of the last 25 years is in many ways the story of Google and Facebook and Amazon. It's sort of digitization and data to help us communicate, to help us retrieve information, to help us find products we didn't know necessarily existed in the world. As we go from a world of 30 billion network devices to 75 billion network devices, we're creating an industrial internet. We are animating historic industries with digitization, with data science, and enabling wealth creation and modernization that these industries have been waiting for. And this is particularly relevant in Italy. I feel like in many respects for the last 20 or 25 years, Italy has not benefited as much as other countries have from digitization. And in certain respects, it's actually lost. But as we now build an industrial internet, I think it really plays to Italy's strengths and taking the expertise we have in some of our traditional industries and bringing them into the 21st century.